What if I told you that you are evil? No matter what you do or what things you say to convince me, you are evil. How are you going to counter that? You'll probably say that you're a good person, because you always take care of people and you're kind. But what if I tell you? That proves my point even more. In the previous chapter, we discussed why we are here. And there was one question that was very deep. Are you brought on this earth to do evil? That kept me thinking. It made me go even deeper into trying to understand the human psyche more. Why are certain people evil? Why are some of us not? And it led me to one question. Who are we? Underneath all the masks we use, who are we? Underneath all the insecurities, who are we? Kind, funny, charming. Is that what we are? A set of adjectives? Or is it maybe names? Are we what we call ourselves? I think there's more to us than we think. We're more complex than we think. We have preferences and hobbies. We are a world on our own, if you think about it. But what is that world made of? What is it that some worlds are red and dark and others are white and happy? To answer that, we need to dive into our own worlds. What makes us who we are? Before we dive deep into this question, I want to mention that there are multiple ways we can approach this, and the way that I have chosen is to consider the things that we can find in life. Good and evil. Either something good has happened or something bad has happened, and I want us to consider this as a path we can explore in order to understand who we are. Not that we have a good and a bad side, but that we are good and evil at the same time. But you might be asking, what does this have to do with trying to understand who we are? I'll tell you, nobody will know who you truly are. Only you have lived your life. Nobody else lived it with you. You see that little voice you hear in your head when you think? That's not someone else. That's you. And we can't truly explain how that works. There's a whole science for that. But for us, we need to explore what is close within our reach philosophically. And that is about who we are as individuals. What are we composed of? What are the truths related to that? And the thing that is prevalent the most is our behavior. Good and bad behavior. If we go a little deeper, we can understand these two sides exist in all of us. The question that remains is, why? Why do we have a good and a bad side? And what can that tell us about who we are? To explain this more, let's ask two questions. What is good? What is evil? Although this falls under the umbrella of morality. But for the sake of today's question, let's consider that something is good if there is a benefit, and something is evil when there is harm. If someone gives you money, that's benefit. If someone punches you, that's harm. It's easy to make the distinction. And now that we have a little definition, we can start to answer our initial question. We are people who are both evil and good. And that comes from the fact that there is a difference between who we are and who we think we are. Think about a situation when you thought you would react a certain way, and you ended up reacting in a different, perhaps more violent way. Where did that violence come from? It came from a place within you. It's a place where your true self lies. No rules, no laws, no morality. It doesn't listen to anything but its true nature. It's the part that flourishes the most when it's given freedom. That part is mostly where everything you're not supposed to do is stored. It's the part where, if it's given freedom, won't abide to any laws. It's where the worst version of you is existing. It's capable of so many things that even you wouldn't imagine. You might say I'm lying, or maybe exaggerating. But we have instincts. Some might have a worse version than others. Some might have a more reasonable one. It could be genetics or environmental factors. But this version exists in each and every one of us. And if you really think about it, Do you think good people are good because of their nature? Or because of something they're fighting? Because I think there is some confusion to what good is, at least in the mainstream, and a huge part of who we are is tied to that. I think a good behavior is usually the product of trying not to be bad or evil. Think about it. When you're walking around, you could do all sort of harm, but you stop yourself, and you either act normally or you do something good. We're intrinsically bad because we follow our nature, and even laws and order, they're all there to make sure we stay good. Because if there were no laws, I can't imagine how crazy the world would be. This all means you are evil by nature. That's the harsh truth. Being a good person means not being an evil person. And if you take a very close look at your society, you'll notice something that is hidden. A little energy. You might notice that evil behavior is slowly growing, and it can be very hard to observe. It might start as teenagers not respecting the elderly, or people not taking care of cats and dogs in the streets as much as they used to. Where do you think all this comes from? It comes from that version, and in some societies it's gotten worse. People indulge in affairs easier than finding jobs. They judge more than they try to understand. They're less worried about if they're harming other people, and sometimes they're just focused on being themselves, as if being yourself and deliberately hurting others is a good thing. And you know what's even harder to realize? You might be doing it yourself. You might think behaving a certain way in public isn't causing any harm, but it might be. And who you are isn't who you think you are. I think the more we realize that, the more aware we will be. Because who we are, clearly, isn't just thoughts. It's behaviors, too. It's both sides of the coin. It's the light and day. It's good and evil. This is one of the ways we can understand ourselves and explain who we are. There are many ways that we'll cover in later videos when needed. But what I want you to take from this video is this. You are more than what you think you are. You are more evil than you think you are. That's the truth that I want you to consider, no matter how hard it might sound. Because next time you suddenly get violent or say the mean things in the wrong time, you know where it comes from. Next time you get surprised at how you were capable of doing something, you know where it comes from. And you know the best part about this? It's that you are given a blueprint of how to be the best version of you. The one that is full of good. Good is already defined for you. It's doing the most opposite thing of what is evil. It's being so considerate and caring, instead of being cold and indifferent. But what is harder isn't doing it once or twice. It's doing it for a lifetime. And sometimes, doing it when everyone else isn't.